Everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda Rose and I am really excited to share this video with you all because I'm going to be talking about how it has been adjusting to teaching middle school, specifically 6th graders. So if you have been following me since the inception of my channel, you know that my entire career, this is my 10th year teaching, I have taught, oh my God, my nails. I have taught high school, mostly seniors. I have also taught 11th graders and 10th graders. One year I also taught 9th graders, but most of my career has been seniors. And so going from teaching 12th grade to 6th graders, I knew it was going to be a huge transition for me, but I mentally felt ready. I also felt prepared. And if I'm being honest, a part of me also felt like it was time. I felt ready to teach younger grades and I felt ready for the challenge. Now, I'm probably going to be all over the place with my thoughts. I actually didn't write anything down, which I probably should have, but I wanted this to be a little bit more informal and I wanted it to be a little bit just off the top of my head, just so you can get an idea for just how it's been in general. So the first thing I want to talk about are the pros. What I really enjoy about teaching middle school is the age group. They are at such a fragile time in their life, and I really do more than ever realize the importance of being a teacher. When I taught older students, I really did have the role of mentor, but also, hey, I'm preparing you for real life. I'm noticing more and more with younger students how impressionable they are, how much they hang on to every word that you say, and also how much of a role model you have to be. I really have noticed that this is the year where they are really absorbing so much for life, and the role that you play in the classroom is very, very vital. So that's one pro that I will say is I do feel extremely important. Not that I never did when I taught before, but I really do realize the value and the weight of teaching middle school versus teaching high school. I am seeing that difference. Another pro is that I get to be a part of really building the skills that they need for high school. I feel like because I know what they need for high school, I can really prepare them when they are in middle school so that they don't fall behind in their writing skills when it comes to English and, of course, social studies. So that's another pro. I think I come with the background knowledge of what it takes to be in high school and to really make sure that they are prepared with those writing skills, how to write a paragraph, how to cite information. Even my 6th graders, I'm going to start introducing this to them very, very soon once we start going into our next unit. And I really want to make sure that by the time they get to 7th grade, that they are writing at an 8th grade level. It is definitely possible, fingers crossed, but that is the goal. Now, when it comes to just the pros in general, I think that they are so funny. This is kind of going back to my other point, but the age group, they are so candid. They say the funniest things. They are definitely not students who hold back. A lot of them genuinely just say what they think. And I really do appreciate that about them because it makes the classroom so authentic. I do think that teaching high schoolers, a lot of them would probably think things or probably make faces, but keep it to themselves. But definitely do not expect that with middle school students. They will say exactly what they're thinking in the moment, or if not, they'll say it under their breath and it's like, I heard that. So that has definitely been a unique experience for me, really just adjusting to the different comments and the different personalities that are being developed in this age group and also how they're just being shown during this time in their life. Again, I feel like I just feel extra special at this point in my career. I'm not going to lie. I genuinely can realize how important being a middle school teacher is and how important middle school is to shaping your life. When I see the possible conflicts that they may encounter with each other, when I see the way that they're struggling to learn certain concepts, I feel, again, it's like this rebirth of like, it's my duty to teach you these things, which of course, that's what it means to be a teacher. but what I'm saying is like that has been re-sparked in me again, seeing them so young and really knowing and understanding that there's so much about not just academics that they need to learn, but also so much about the world. Now, I'm going to change this as far as I don't want to say cons because I don't really think there's anything negative about teaching middle school, but again, the video is about me adjusting. So it's all of the changes that I've had to experience teaching middle school. The first adjustment is learning the content. I feel like a new teacher all over again. Late nights, planning my lessons. Now, I will say that every weekend I figure out what I'm doing Monday through Friday. And it does take me quite a long time. It takes me about 3 hours to do that. But it goes back to what I was saying in my previous videos. Plan your week. A lot of my strategies and a lot of my suggestions that I've been giving to new teachers, I have been implementing and even going back to some of my videos and doing myself because I really had to get back to the basics when it comes to middle school. So learning the content, doing lesson planning, figuring out what I'm doing the whole week so that every day I can just open up that document and say, okay, this is the objective, this is the aim, this is the do now, this is the activity I have to make. I already created the exit slip. So it makes my life so much easier when I am at home planning the lessons because really all I'm doing is probably making 4 slides and then creating the activity, which is the bulk of the class time. Which brings me to the second and probably the most important adjustment is creating lesson plans for 6th graders. I knew that I would have to create lessons that were very focused and very driven on one specific topic, but I have quickly learned that in the first 2 weeks, I was still giving them way more than they were capable of doing. And so I really had to focus a lot more on skill-based teaching, which again, for some of you, you may think, duh, that's what teachers do. But again, when you're teaching older students, those students are coming in with those skills already. They know, for the most part, how to compare and contrast, cause and effect, how to annotate documents. So because I have seniors, they came in with those skills, and really a lot of the writing skills that I was checking for was grammar. We were learning how to cite in MLA or APA format, really things that prepared them for college. And so I really had to backtrack and learn how to teach a lot of these skills that my students would have already came to me by the time they were seniors. So what I'm learning is the biggest adjustment is teaching a skill and using social studies as the way to teach that skill. Versus when I did teach seniors, they already had the skill and we were very heavy on content-focused lessons. This is really, hey, this is the skill for today, we're going to inference. This is the skill, we're going to problem solve. This is the skill, cause and effect. This is the skill, analyze. And then I use social studies documents and social studies topics and content to teach the skill. So in many ways, I feel this goes back to why I feel so important because I'm really realizing how much it takes to be a middle school teacher. And I want my students to be able to walk out of my room. And I want people to say, especially as a new teacher, you know, who had the 6th graders last year? Who had them last year? They really know how to do A, B, C, and D. And so I think a part of it is I want to make sure that they're equipped. I feel such a huge responsibility, more than I have in previous years, but then I also want to set off a good impression because I am also at a new school. So along with adjusting to content and lesson planning, which is again the most difficult part for me, and also the part that I am the least familiar with when it comes to creating it in such bite-sized focused ways, is also just the behavior. So when I say behavior, I mean how young they are. So although they're fun, although they ask great questions, they're so inquisitive, they're so curious, they are still very young. So a lot of a lot of just things where, oh, so-and-so called me this, or, you know, so-and-so told me to shut up, or Miss, can you ask so-and-so why they said this to me in lunch? Like, they are extremely um, young and they tattle on each other a lot. And of course, in a older grades classroom, you would never have that happen. Like, that would never ever happen. And if it did happen, it's because they're making fun of each other, or a senior's being silly, like, Miss, look, they got their phone out. But this is very like catty. And that's the part where I'm really learning, because to me, when I taught the seniors, it was grow up, you know, what are you doing? But I'm realizing that my approach, even with the way that I talk to them, the way that I discipline, the way that I correct behavior in the classroom is totally different, more because it's behavior that I never experienced teaching seniors, obviously. So that's also a really big adjustment for me, is realizing that, hey, there's so many things that are so important to them. Like, in their mind, everything that happens is a really big deal. And so I'm just learning to respect their feelings, but also set boundaries and expectations. Like, hey, this is not something you bring to your teacher, you know? But I'm trying to find that fine line, because I've realized that there's also a lot of bullying that happens in middle school, way more than in high school. You see it a lot more. It's a lot more blatant. And so that's something that I am very watchful of, because the biggest thing for me is my students' safety and them feeling safe in my classroom. I never want a child to walk in and dread my room because they're sitting next to someone who's going to make them uncomfortable, or kicking them under the chair, or taking their pencil from them. So those are things that I'm hyper aware of, and thankfully my school also does a really great job at communicating those things so that we can separate certain students. But that's another thing that I have had to adjust to, is just how much they bother each other and how much they pick on each other. I'm not used to that. So I'm definitely growing a huge soft spot for this age group. It has taken me time to grow that soft spot, if I'm being honest with you. I was just so used to, I'm teaching, we get to crack a little bit of jokes, we learn, we talk about real issues in the world. See you, seniors. See you next time. But here I'm dealing with so much more emotional changes and emotional growth in the students, while still trying to teach these skills. So it's a lot more responsibility, if I'm being honest with you. I feel like it's a lot more responsibility, and like I'm preparing them for so much more than when I was teaching high school. So it's been wild. I think, again, I feel like I hit most of it, because the biggest adjustment again is content for me, and the lesson planning, focused lessons. It was so much easier to be like, hey, annotate this document, look for this, along with annotating, title this, and answer these questions. And a lot of times with the sixth graders, it's just, no, we're just going to annotate for today. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. I just wanted this to be more of an informal, like, chit chat type of thing of how I am adjusting. I think it's about like a month and a half in, so I feel way better. I'm not gonna lie, for the first month, I wanted to cry at least 3 times just because the lesson planning is getting to me. That everyday thing, I forgot what that was like. I almost feel like I'm too old to be doing this. But I do think I'm getting the hang of it. And again, being able to plan out my week every Saturday, and then being able to just go back to that one document so that I can just create the materials for the day, has been a game changer. When I plan out my week, my life, my day-to-day is so much easier. I don't have to get home and be like, oh, what am I doing tomorrow? Let me look through all of these documents. Let me find a worksheet. I already know what I'm doing, so I can get down to business and finish a PowerPoint and a worksheet for them in about an hour. And that's usually how much time I spend prepping daily now, if I plan my week out on a Saturday or a Sunday, but I prefer Saturdays. So yeah, everyone, that's pretty much it. That's how I'm adjusting to teaching middle school. I will definitely continue to update you guys. And I also want to create a video talking about certain strategies that I have been finding have been working for me teaching 6th grade. Again, everything is different for me. A lot of my approaches when I taught high school are just out the door. They don't work. And so I have about 5 things that are solid strategic routines and things that I implement in the classroom daily to make sure that not only I have a smooth lesson, but that my students know what to expect and it doesn't derail the class conversation too much. So that's pretty much it. Keep a lookout for that video as well. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure that you like and that you subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all in the next one.